All right, guys, so it looks like our vacuum held, so we can start to charge. I'm gonna close up the valves. All right, make sure everything's nice and snug. I'm gonna unhook our vacuum pump. And of course I got a new virgin bottle of 410A. As you guys know, 410A is a zeotrope refrigerant, so when you take out the charge, you got to put in a new charge. You guys see my recovery machine over there. It's because what I like to do when I charge is I use the recovery machine to push in the charge. Seeing as this is going to be it's going to be 17 pounds, 0.2 ounces, it'll take a while to just let it charge on its own, because the pressures will equalize. So I'm impatient and I want to see the unit running, so I push it in with using my recovery machine. So I'll be showing you guys how to do that. The first things first, you want to have your scale because you want to have a proper charge. I have it here, a field piece, wireless scale. So we're gonna hook up our extra hose here to our tank. We'll zero out our scale. And it weighs about 33.8. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna attach this hose to the end of our recovery machine, and our yellow service hose. Actually, let me move this over here to the out. So it's kind of the same concept as recovery, right? We're taking it out of this vessel and putting it into that vessel. But you can't flood your recovery machine, so you got to kind of meter it, and you'll see what I mean when I turn it on. So right now we have our tank here. I'm gonna crack it open. Alrighty. So I'm gonna open up this side and you'll see the open up our inlet side. As you can see, the pressure rose to about 200, so that's what, if we looked at our PT chart, it's probably correlating with the temperature, ambient temperature right now outside. And as you can see, I put it a little lower than the liquid setting because it will flood and your recovery machine will stop working. They do sell charging machines. I just don't have one, but you could use your recovery machine if you are mindful and watch it. All right, guys. So now I'm gonna make sure everything's still closed. I'll open up the out. purge the line, tighten that up, and just the same concept, right? We're in a vacuum, so it should suck in refrigerant right now. You want to zero out your scale so you can count up, just makes it easier. We know we got to put in 17.2 pounds. So let's crack this open up our service port. And like just like the nitrogen, I like to charge through our high side. As soon as I crack it, it should start feeding. And as you can see, it's feeding. And once it equalizes, I'll turn on the the recovery machine and start pumping in that refrigerant. All right guys, so we equalized around 8 pounds, 8 ounces. About half the charge went in, just feeding it because of the vacuum sucking it in. So now we're gonna start our recovery machine and feed in the rest of the charge. Like I said, you're gonna have to meter this. I have it on a really low setting right now because you don't want to flood the machine. See, I don't know if you guys could hear it. You could kind of hear it shaking. Like if I went like this, it'll really start to over flood it. So we just want to crank it down a little bit, let it do its thing, and just watch our scale now until we get to that 17.2 ounces. It shouldn't take too long using the recovery machine to push in our charge. So now it's just a little waiting game. So just watch the scale, make sure that you don't overcharge the unit. Okay guys, as you can see, we're around 15 pounds. We're almost reaching that 17 pound mark. So we want to get ready to shut off our recovery machine, because as soon as it hits 17, you don't want to overcharge the system. So we're almost at 16 pounds right now. We're at 16 pounds and a couple ounces. So I'm gonna start getting ready to close the inlet on our recovery machine. Right about we're at 17. All right, we should have enough here inside here to push in. We're right at 17, and 17.2 ounces on our scale. So we'll leave this open here, and when the unit comes on, we'll suck in the rest of the charge. All right guys, so now we're ready to turn the unit back on. So we're going to take off our lock. Always face away when you turn on your disconnect. Okay, disconnect on. Our unit is powering up now. The nice thing about these carriers is that you have this little like module here, so you could actually, I don't know if you guys can see up there, but there's a section called service tests. so I could test each circuit individually. So right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call for cooling on our first circuit, the circuit that we were working on. Our indoor fan motor just turned on, and we're gonna go to service test mode. Oh, actually it called for cooling right away. I guess it was calling downstairs, so alright, so I'm gonna feed in the rest of the charge that it needs through our suction. Just meter it in. You don't want to flood our compressor. This is a scroll compressor, so it could take a little bit of liquid, but you don't want to flood it. So just meter it in. Alright guys, so that was the whole charge. So we just want to give our unit time for our pressures to stabilize, and we don't have that much of a heat load, I believe, right now, so yeah, so you just want to let it run for a while, make sure that our pressures start to stabilize. So let it do its thing. Alright guys, so that was a super long video. Guys that are in my class, hopefully this is helpful. Just showing you what to actually do when you're charging a unit, vacuuming a unit, and leak checking a unit. Hopefully you could sit through all of it. It's gonna be a long one, but you could always forward along and stop at each section if you need to review it. Hope this is helpful. Like and comment and subscribe.